Today we're going to look at how to set up Microsoft Bookings for your organization and enable the functionality in Microsoft Teams. To start, we'll need to get some licenses to ensure that the booking service works. Click on Billing and click on Purchase Services. Provided you're in the new Admin Center, scroll to the bottom and click Add-ons. You'll see a Business Apps free license. This includes Microsoft Bookings and will enable it for your tenant given that you have enterprise licensing there. Additionally, you can contact your licensing reseller to get this added to an enterprise agreement if you'd rather go that route. We'll tap on Microsoft Business Apps. We'll select something like paying for a year and just grabbing a few licenses. I'll uncheck this checkbox because I'll want to assign these licenses manually later on. I'll click Checkout now. And I'll need to provide some basic information about where I am. I'll hit Next. I'll confirm that this is the right amount of users I need, and of course, $0. And I'll choose Invoice, as we don't need to pay anything up front. I'll click Place Order, and within moments, the new licenses should be available for me to use in my tenant. I'll click Go to Admin Home so I can start assigning these licenses. I'll go to some of my users and I'll assign the Microsoft Bookings license. The license is required for any of the users who will use Bookings to schedule appointments. These users must have at least an Office 365 E3 license. An E5 license will work as well. I'll select a few of my E5 users to get the license assignment started. I'll click Manage Product Licenses and add to their existing license assignment. Note you can use group-based licensing or custom scripting to get this done as well. We'll choose Microsoft Business Apps and click Add. We're now done enabling Microsoft Business Apps and Microsoft Bookings for our users. You may want to double check under your settings in the Admin Center to ensure that Bookings is enabled for your tenant and configured the way you'd like. You'll need to make sure Allow your organization to use Bookings is checked. If for some reason you'd like to allow online payments, you can turn that on, as well as configure blocking social options and even requiring staff approvals before adding them into Bookings. We do not recommend using this for any healthcare scenarios, however. To start off with Bookings, we'll navigate to bookings.office.com. If you see a screen like this, don't worry, it can take a little bit of time for the booking service to be enabled after you assign licenses and after you enable it through the Admin Center. When Microsoft Bookings is ready for your organization, you'll see a screen like this. Go ahead and click Get It Now. At this point, if you're the first person to set up a booking calendar in the organization, you'll see a prompt at the bottom saying that no booking calendars could be found. If you don't see that, you can search for an existing booking calendar if you know the name. We'll get started by creating a new booking calendar. We'll enter a business name. And a business type. We'll choose Health Clinics and hit Continue. Once our calendar is ready, we have a few things to get started to customize. First, let's go ahead and add a logo. This logo will appear to all of our patients when we send out booking notifications, so please make sure it's something that represents your organization properly. I'll click Upload a new logo, choose from my file system, and we'll choose this hospital icon. I'll hit Save there, and shortly enough we should have that logo ready for us. Next down, let's take a look at our staff page. You can see we have some staff already ready to go here, at various different roles and bookable statuses. The roles will define what this user is able to do if they go to the bookings application, provided they have the right license. And bookable tells us whether or not we can book on their calendars. I'll go ahead and click on Lynn here to edit her status. Right here we can change her from a viewer to an administrator or to a guest. As you can see, as a viewer, she can see bookings but can't modify or delete them. Let's promote her to an administrator so that she can create and delete bookings as needed. Next down, we'll have services. Services every time comes built in with an initial consult. We can get started by either editing or deleting this service. We'll go ahead and edit this service so that we can customize this to what we need. First of all, we can change its name. We'll stick with initial consult, and we can change the description, which will be visible to your internal providers. We can assign staff to this specific service detail so that they are bookable as this type. You can have multiple different services and different staff members that are available to be booked for said service. We'll definitely want to turn on Add Online Meeting, which will add a Teams meeting. Please note that if your tenant is not in a Teams only mode or is in an Islands or Interop mode with Skype for Business, this could result in a Skype for Business online meeting. To ensure Teams, use Teams only mode. For default location, we recommend changing this to Microsoft Teams Meeting to make it clear to your patient that this is a remote meeting and is not something they should be coming into the office for. Below, we can set things like default duration. There's two settings here which are relevant only if we allow customers or patients to book themselves. We'll not be looking at that today, so those settings are not necessarily relevant. Of course, you shouldn't be doing billing through this, so we can ignore the price point. However, we can set up some internal notes where your staff can see what's going on with this service. Lastly, we have modifying custom fields. By default, we're asking for all of these fields, but not necessarily required. If you'd like to avoid capturing some of these, you can deselect them so that we don't have to store that PHI if not necessary. You can also add additional questions that can be provided by your schedulers, such as an MRN number. We can also customize our reminder and confirmation messages. These can be customized during each individual appointment scheduling, but this is so that we can have a templatized version that doesn't need to be customized at all times. For example, we may want to add an email reminder 15 minutes before to send to our patient to say, please remember your appointment starts in 15 minutes. We recommend you join early. Lastly, in the email confirmation, we can format some rich text here to send to our customers. We do have a preview feature to enable text message notifications to your customer if you'd like to use that as well, but please note it is preview and limited support and may come with a cost at a later time. We have a few other settings that you can go into and customize this a little bit further. We'll click Save. If we want to add additional services, we can click the Add a Service button and go through that same process. We'll next look at business information. Note that this business information, at least certain parts of it, are visible to our end users and our patients. Specifically, we recommend creating a business phone number. This phone number will be listed on all email communication to your patients and is a great way for them to contact you. We also recommend changing where your customer replies go to make sure those go to a distribution list or shared mailbox that can be accessed properly by the schedulers. And finally, you can customize the business hours that are available for booking for your schedulers. They won't be blocked from booking outside of your business hours, but they will be warned. If you are running a 24/7 hospital or clinic, you may want to expand these or match them to meet your business hours. The booking page will only be used if you choose to publish a page on a public URL for your patients to book with you specifically. You can feel free to do this, however, we will not be covering this in our demo here today. At Calendar, we can start booking appointments finally. This is where a scheduler will go in and book an appointment. Details in this will be covered in a different video. While we can certainly have our schedulers go to bookings.office.com every time they need to schedule an appointment, Microsoft Teams might be a better way to give them access to this tool. There's two ways we can go about doing this. One is a little bit more easy, but involves adding it to a team that they have access to. To do that, we click Add a tab in a team or a channel and choose the website option. We'll name this Bookings and put in a URL. That URL should match your outlook.office.com/bookings/calendar. If we put that into our URL, we can save this and make it available for all of our users to get straight to the Bookings application. The first time, they'll have to click Get It Now, and then choose the calendar that they need to use. That will then be retained, and the Calendar tab will pop open every other time they come back to this tab. The alternate option, which is a little bit more technically complex and involved, can provide us the option to add an application to the left-hand side of the Teams interface for staff to use and for us to assign out to staff. To do this, we're going to first need to use Microsoft Teams App Studio. Go ahead and search for App Studio in your store. Click on App Studio and add it if you don't already have it available to you. Within App Studio, we're going to go into the Manifest Editor, and we're going to create a new application from scratch. We'll give this a name, again, such as Bookings, and a fuller application name that will be visible when people try to access this through your own internal store. You'll need to give this an app ID, which we can generate through the GUID generation button. And you'll also need to give this a package name. This is used as an identifier and is a proper thing to define for development of applications. You'll need to give it a version as well, representing whenever you make changes or update this application. We'll also want to put in a description to describe what this does. And we'll say provides access to Microsoft Bookings inside of Teams. I'll use that for my full description as well, but you may want to be more descriptive in there so that your users understand what this is for. Put in some developer information, such as your organization name, and a website for your organization. You'll also need to put in a privacy statement and terms of use. Consider creating these so that it is clear to your organization what these are for. Lastly, we'll want to add some branding. You can leave the default icons, but I prefer to provide a little bit more of a unique user experience. I'll click Update and upload some files that I have ready to go for this. If you're using a white transparent icon like me, you'll want to add an accent color to make this visible and easy to use for your end users. Next up, we're going to go down to tabs. We'll make sure to add a personal tab, as this is how this will work, is adding it for users on the left-hand side. We'll give the tab title. We'll call this Bookings. An entity ID. We'll say Bookings tab ID, although this is customizable to your needs. and then we'll put in that URL that we talked about before, the same URL that we used as a tab in the team earlier. That needs to go into Content URL. We'll hit Save at this point, and then we'll go down to Test and Distribute. At this point, we're ready to download this app package so that we can upload it for all of our users to use. I'll click Download here. At this point, we're ready to re-upload. We'll go to our Teams Admin Center at admin.teams.microsoft.com and click on Teams Apps and Manage Apps and go to Upload a new application. We'll upload what we downloaded before. As we can see, it's now been added to the list and is available to our users. To ensure our users can access this, make sure your users are assigned to a permission policy that allows them to access the tenant applications, which includes the application we just uploaded. Additionally, if you'd like, you can set up a custom setup policy for the individuals who do need a book and add an application, such as our new application. Next, we'll log in as one of our users into Microsoft Teams. We'll click on Apps at the bottom and click on Built for whatever your organization name is. In there, we will see the new application that is ready for us to add. We'll click on it and click Add. Within a moment, the new application is ready for us and pinned to our left-hand side. This can be available for a group of users, all of your users, or by individuals, and provides easy access to Microsoft bookings through Teams. We hope you found this helpful, and we're always here to help answer additional questions to help you get up and running in your environment with telehealth and Microsoft Teams. For more information, please visit us at aka.ms/HLSblog.